Hey there, friends. Hopefully we get some people in here. My first live on Facebook. I know I've done it a few times on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, I do prefer Instagram. Thought I'd come over and give my Facebook friends some love. Getting myself situated while some people come over and see that I'm live. Hey, friends. No friends yet. Just taking a sip of my water. Water tastes so good when you're desperate for it. Recently woke up from a nap. I'm currently on this Corona vacation. My job had decided to close for the safety of its workers and guests, which I completely understand. Even if it may be scary and stressful, I do believe it's the safer thing to do. So yeah, I'm on a little Corona vacation. That's how I'm choosing to see it. Organizing my space real quick. I know I probably should have did that before I went live, but waiting for some people to join. Ooh, we have one friend. Who is this friend? I wish I could see. I cannot see who the friend is. Hey, friend. Why don't you leave a comment so I can see? And excuse me, I'm in my pajamas. I will likely stay in my pajamas for the next couple weeks. Why do I need pants if I'm gonna be inside? Two friends. Oh, snap. This is how you know I'm not used to being in the limelight. Two friends. I'm like, oh my God, we got a party. Aw, back to one friend. Womp womp. Who's here? Who's here? Leave some comments below so I can see who you are. Apparently, I left a brush laying a certain way. Now it's all bent, trying to fix it real quick. I hope everyone is safe and blessed. Gonna get things started in a little bit. All right, so as you can see here in my little palette, I have a new tube of paint from Winsor and Newton, which, if you know anything about me, I absolutely despise Winsor and Newton, but I was curious about a color, and only a handful of brands make it because it's a fugitive color, meaning that it fades very quickly within light. I had this tube open for a few minutes. It started to dry a little bit, but I just wanted to take the contents of the cap real quick and swatch it out for you. I have my beautiful sketchbook here by Indigo Art Papers, and it's 100% cotton rag. So a lot of papers are made from wood pulp or a mixture of wood pulp and cotton. And then there's 100% cotton, so that's like Arches, and Paul Rubens has it, and Arteza has an inexpensive one. I use that as like my practice paper. But cotton rag is different from 100% cotton. So cotton rag is longer fibers and they're sturdier. I consider it a step up. So yeah, it's just really hard for me to find. I feel like cotton rag is harder for me to find unless like you're going in person to like a big art store. And we do have a Blick store down in Tampa, and we have another store like downtown Orlando or somewhere near there. I'm in Kissimmee. I don't want to take that long drive, so I order whatever I can find online at a reasonable price, and this to me was reasonable. I don't remember the exact number, but okay, so we're going to get into this. This is Opera Rose. So it's supposed to be like this bright, almost neon pink. I don't normally work straight from the tube. This had dried out a little bit because I had the cap open for about 10 minutes. I don't normally use Winsor & Newton. Oh my God, that's so right. So I normally use Core and M-Gram. And those brands have a lot of flow. So for instance, if I were to if this was Core and I were to touch the paint with a wet brush, it would flow like across the page. But let's see how Winsor & Newton does. Yeah, this is a more gentle. That would have shot across if that was M-Gram or Winsor & Newton, which is all preference. It's not bad, it's just preference. Winsor & Newton is definitely a tried and true company. Most artists start with a Winsor & Newton product somewhere. I'm going to try to close this cap if it lets me. It's not going to let me, so I got to use some of this paint in the cap. You see here, it won't let me close it. Let me take that out. Put it on my palette there. So yeah. So the whole point of Chromantic Creations is that I love bright colors. I am obsessed. And a chromantic is someone who is obsessed with or in love with colors. And I think that perfectly describes my artistic take. So Opera Rose is a very fugitive color, meaning that it fades quickly within light. Quickly could mean within a few hours or a few days or even a couple weeks, as opposed to being able to hang something up on your wall and it's going to, stand the test of time and stay true. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing some cobalt teal and I'm going to see what I can mix this with. What kind of colors I can get. Ooh. I really like bright colors, as we just talked about. That is a beautiful, dusty purple. It's going to granulate because core paints, not core paints. I mean, core paints do granulate a lot, but cobalt teal especially. There you go. I'm going to add a little more cobalt to that. See the different ways this can shift here. So you see, this is what happens. But when we put a little bit more of the cobalt teal in there, you get like this dusty blue. I just got this in the mail a few hours ago. Those colors, when it dries, might separate and make this lovely granular pattern. So I just got this in the mail a few hours ago, and I was either gonna go live or record it for a YouTube video. And I was like, you know what? How about I just go live, let you guys know I'm here, keep you guys company during, this quarantine time. I'm looking for another color to mix it with. And I need to brighten up, wet my palette, sorry. Trying to think of what else to mix it with. So I mix like common colors that make sense. I don't normally mix just random colors and see what happens, but the whole point of this is to see what happens. So let me take some ultramarine blue. Okay. And then some of this okay, so I know we just did some purples. So there's that. Let me see if I take it with some new Gamboge by Core. Maybe I'll get like a peachy skin tone color. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Woo! I like that. Oh, I like that color so much. I think I'm going to intensify that a bit. Get some more of each. Okay. So, some more new Gamboge. Make that stronger blends there. There we go. More intense. Let's see what else we can mix it with. So what happens if we take like a phthalo green? It's an opera rose. That is a weird color. It's another purple looking color. I was not expecting that. My friends are going in and out, y'all. Okay. Leave some comments and I can respond to them. If you have any questions or interests or ideas that you want me to do, this is just me spending time with you guys. Keep each other company. I probably shouldn't have touched that again. That's gonna bloom now. Okay, let's see if I blend it with, mix it with some what if I have an indigo? Another dusty purple. Chanel, get away from these dusty purples. They're all the same. So what I was talking about, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but right here with the cobalt teal, the color started to separate a bit. And that's what I love about using the cobalt teal. Okay. So yeah, I just made myself another dusty purple. I guess let's mix it with a brown now. Ooh, what about Let's take Ngram's raw umber. That's a weird color. It's a dusty rose kind of looking. This would also, I think, be good for a skin tone. Maybe if I was painting like a darker skin tone and I need to add like some blush to their cheeks, I think that would be a good color. Excuse my pajamas. I will try not to flash you. All right, so we've swatched out some of that. I really like, you can really see here how they separate. I really like this, the cobalt teal. I think I'm gonna use that in the painting. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of, these colors here. Keep these two because I'll use them. So we're gonna clean the palette. Sorry about my arm being in the viewfinder. Ah, I spritzed it even though I didn't mean to. I just said to myself, oh, I'm gonna leave that one. So essentially, just to clean my palette, I spritz some water on it. It's porcelain. Just want to get some of this purple up. There we go. Spritz some water on it and just wipe it with a tissue. 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right. No. The back cover fell off. Let's see. I did this last week and I was able to like pop it back in. It's kind of hard to pop it back in. I just don't want my paper to get messed up. 2 seconds, y'all. All right, I fixed it. Okay. So here is the next thing. Earlier, I wanted to sit and paint, and I sketched out this flower. This is on some other 100% cotton rag paper. It's from Khadi papers. I think both brands, Indigo and Khadi, are from India. Okay. Making sure my brushes are cleaned off. All right. So I know I'm gonna use some of this opera pink to have a bright pop of color, and I think I'm gonna use the combination with the cobalt teal. I think we're gonna do that, play with it and see what happens. So let's get right into it. All right, trying to decide how I wanna start this here. Putting down some water. so it's not completely dry. I'm gonna use some of that cobalt teal and aqua rose mixture. Okay, and I've sketched this with my Prismacolor Colorways colored pencils, so it's a harder, it's a firmer lead, and it's color pencil, but it's erasable. I mean, it's not 100% erasable, still leaves a little bit of color behind, but it doesn't smear when I wet it, where it's not supposed to. Okay. So right away, I feel like this needs a little more of the opera color. There we go. I wanted it more on the dusty purple side than the blue. I'm gonna soften that edge. I'm trying to help promote some flow, which is a little difficult with Winsor and Newton. It doesn't want to do that. So the blue is going to want to flow more, and the pink is going to want to stay still. I just realized I was hungry. I could eat. So recently I changed the setup in my little studio area. I have a different kind of table, and this table is a wood top with iron legs. Unfortunately, that means when I move a little bit, the whole everything, I don't know if you can see, shakes, which drives me nuts. I'll fix it. I'll do a different setup eventually, but I'm working with what I have. All right, so we did the outside, the folded part of the petal on this flower. So we're gonna have to jump around to different petals so that we don't get the cauliflower bleeding kind of situation going on. And hopefully by the time we get back to the original petal that we started with, it will have dried. I do tend to switch back and forth between brushes until I find one that I'm comfortable with for the project that I'm working on. Trying to promote a little contour there of the petal, and then soften it up so it doesn't just look like a hard line. There we go. I have no clue what kind of flower this is supposed to be. I'm just having fun and seeing where the art takes me, you know? The one thing that I hate about painting is my neck always hurts from looking down. I've tried propping it up a little bit, but that just doesn't, I don't like painting like that. It's not, I don't like it. I don't even have a reason other than I just don't like it. Okay, I'm gonna let this one try to spread whichever way it wants to spread. And then I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush. A smaller, softer brush. Gonna open this up. Another dab on my plate, my palette plate over here. See, I don't normally paint from the tube, but I know that Winsor Newton doesn't do good if you pour them into pans like I do with my paint palette here. These are all originally tubes like this. And what I did was I just bought the tin, this thing, the container, and I bought the individual little cups, the squares, and I squeezed the paint into the squares, you know, into there, and they hold up, they set up a little bit. Like the core sets up more than the M-gram does. Like this is like hard, not hard, but, and the M-gram is gooey. As you can see, it even looks gooey. If I try to put my finger in there, I'm just gonna pull away a whole bunch of gooey looking paint. And I don't wanna waste my paint, so just take my word for it. But Winsor Newton is not good for that. One should not try to pour those into pans like I have with the other ones, because they're just gonna get rock hard and then they're not gonna reconstitute, they're not gonna re-wet well, and you're not gonna get a good pigment load. Essentially, you'll just waste your paint. So yeah, so with that one I will work from the tube. So I'm gonna take my Princeton Aqua Elite round brush in the size 2. I'm gonna go in with just some pure Opera Rose here. Oh my goodness, it's so bright. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put this brush down, and then I'm gonna take my silver black velvet brush, soften that edge. Maybe I can promote it to flow, which doesn't look like it's gonna happen. See, it just wants to stay still. At least it'll be easier to control. So the one thing that bothers me about core is it is so staining that it can be really difficult to soften edges. Like, I was hoping I was going to be able to come in and blend that a bit. Sorry, I get really quiet when I start concentrating. I get really into whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm concentrating really hard right now because I kind of don't like how this is blending out. I'm trying to see if I can save it before it dries too much. The funny part is the only thing I can think about right now is how hungry I am. I'm such a fat kid. Let's do a light wash. Alright, so that first petal is dry now. And then I'm going to take my thin brush that I had earlier, and I'm going to gently start some veiny parts. I think it's starting to look like the inside of a petal now. So this inside part, which I regret painting out, sketching out. I regret sketching it with the color pencil. I'm gonna take a little water there. Nope, actually I'm not. That's already dried a lot, and if I were to try to do that now, it's just gonna leave a cauliflower effect. So I'm gonna move on to a different petal. I am gonna do this petal right here, and I'm gonna make it more blue. Not straight blue, but that's dry. That's dry. And that one's definitely dry. All right, so I'm gonna tell you right now, I am terrible at staying in the lines. Absolutely terrible. Especially since I've gotten older and my eyesight has gotten worse. Terrible. What even is that sometimes? Right. Let's try this one. I'm going to go about it a little differently than I did the last one. I'm going to wet it. Wet. And then I am going to take this little yellow orange that I made. Has cadmium yellow and the Aqua Rose color. I'm gonna do that. Then I have the Aqua Rose, and I'm gonna let them do their thing. I'm gonna take my thin brush with some fresh Aqua Rose in it, and there we go. I'll start making these veins. Cleaned off my brush so I can soften this a little bit. Some of those got kind of intense there. Here we go. That's what I feel I should have did the first time. I hope you like how this is coming out. Okay. I feel like those are too damp for me to really go in there. Let's give that a second. Hi. Now I can see who's watching. It wouldn't let me before. Okay. I think I'm gonna start getting into this background here. Gonna get a big, juicy squirrel brush. Loaded it up with some water. I'm trying to get close to the flower, but I'm trying not to like touch it so that it doesn't bleed, so that the color doesn't bleed out or blossom, or I don't want any unintended effects. I mean, I feel like watercolor is just full of unintended effects, but where I can help it, I'll try not to do it. And I purposely only tape the corners because I want to try to have an organic edge. So I'm going to take cobalt teal. Wow, that was a lot of color. And I think some cadmium yellow. There we go. And I want this like electric green color. This paper is so heavy duty that it just absorbed all of that water. I'll make sure this is super wet. So like you can see the bead of water I'm pushing around. Because I want this to be a very organic bleed here. Just let it push on out. Push it. Push it. Do 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 do. Push it real good. Sorry. Julie enjoyed that. Do, 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 do. Making myself look old over here. sure everybody thinks I'm super young by how I look. Thank you. I'm just glad that somebody's here. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. I really wish I could stop at this song because it's not cool anymore. It was funny for a second. Not funny anymore. Just get something stuck in your head and you run with it. This brush is wet. This big juicy squirrel brush from Princeton Neptune. It's wet. And I'm essentially just trying to pull out the color a bit. This paper is great and it can handle a lot of layers, but damn, sometimes it just like doesn't want to let the color move. Hot pressed paper, like 100% cotton hot pressed paper, the color would be like shooting across the page a bit more. But this paper is thick. Ooh, almost dropped my brush. Caught it. Okay. So I'm happy with that for now. The layers have dried a bit, so now let's go to this inside petal. Clean off my brush. I'm supposed to wet this first. Completely forgot. All right. Now I just gotta try to not put my hand in the wet stuff because I do that all the time, and then it will dry unevenly in like the shape of whatever finger I had down. Okay, so let's get this little orange that we got going on, yellow orange. It looks muddy and green right now because my brush wasn't clean. Muddy and green because the brush wasn't clean. I'm gonna try to liven that up a bit real quick. Okay. Still a little muddy, but that's what we got. Gotta go with the flow. I feel like that's just the motto of watercolor. Go with the flow. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, my neck is killing me. So yeah, so during this little Corona-cation, this Corona staycation we got going on, I'm gonna try to make more content for you guys, record more paintings. My YouTube channel is up and running. I recently released my first video. I have a few recorded. I have to edit them. But, you know, Chromantic Creations here, just wanted to keep you company while you're stuck at home. I'm happy to do some other events if I can get some people to join in with me. Maybe we can have like some Skype parties. if I can figure out a way to do that, where I can post it on social media, where myself and maybe someone else are at home, but we're joined by the internet, technology, great things. And, we can kind of have like a paint with me thing where, the same way you would go to one of those shops that have like a paint and sip or whatever and just enjoy each other's company, and paint together, Just trying to keep everybody company while still keeping everyone safe. Thank you. I have a lot of great ideas, but it's about putting them into practice. I need to put my money where my mouth is. My mouth says a lot. But yeah, I think I can get a couple of my artist friends together and we can do some collabs and join in, guys. Even if whatever you're doing at home, even if you're like cooking or doing laundry or whatever, but it's just nice to have something on a TV. Keep your mind going. For people who have me on my personal page, you guys know that I have some medical conditions that have in the past kept me at home and unable to, go out in the world the way I would want to. I've had times where I was like stuck in bed and stuff like that. So this social distancing and isolation, this is literally nothing. It's nothing for me. It's just how I live my regular life. Yes, I agree. About pulling them out and making them real. Most definitely, Danielle. Yes, I'm used to spending a lot of time inside. Definitely something I'm used to. And I don't mind being inside. I find ways to still connect with people through the internet. I have a lot of internet friends that I have kept for a long time and I keep in touch with. And as you see, I do a lot of fun stuff at home. I like to play some video games too, so I think I'll just start recording all of my fun activities stuck in the house, and you guys can get some ideas too. Had to take a sip. Thirsty. Okay. So guys, we're going to wrap this up for now because now my whole paper is kind of wet. And I need to let it dry. And then maybe I'll come back in another day or two and do another live where we work on this some more. If I work on it and I don't record it, I will take pictures and post them so you can see updates on how I'm coming along with this piece. So thank you for everyone who stopped by for a little bit. I'm gonna be a lot more active now that I have a lot of free time at home. Everyone, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay with your loved ones. Tomorrow is not promised. This is a really hard time that everyone is going through, and I just wish everyone the best and good fortune. Take care of yourself and have faith. We will all get through this. And we can get through this together by keeping each other company. All right. Thanks, friends. Take care.